I just got done watching Brother Greg's video about confronting Jezebel, and it was so timely because me and my friends were actually right now reading Breaking Intimidation by John Bevere because we're both dealing with the Jezebel spirit with people in our lives, and it was just so much confirmation for like several dreams that God had given me concerning certain people that He has actually ordained me to go and just pretty much conquer and just cut off of a certain situation. And I have to do that through confrontation. And one thing I noticed in the dreams is that I would always run away from it. And I wasn't sure the dream, like, does God want me to confront the person or the spirit in the person? Or like, is it another source that wants me to confront them? So I'm gonna put his videos in the description box, and I just love the way the Holy Spirit is moving because like that wasn't a coincidence that he just made that video, and that's exactly what me and the girls have been going over. What the Lord is trying to getting our spirits about confrontation when it comes to Jezebel. And I just want to share like a recent encounter I had with somebody that I had a witchcraft covenant with. I always share it with y'all, named Olivia. Now, what's so funny about this? I already told y'all that whenever I'm under any kind of demonic oppression by that witchcraft spirit, it sends Olivia around every single time. That girl always comes back around. I recently changed my email address, so nobody can get to me through my old email address anymore. But she used to email me, and I had her email address blocked. So I don't know. Don't ask me why I did it. I would check my spam, which is where all the blocked messages, like email messages and stuff, goes to, and I would see her. And I share with y'all in several videos how, these spirits, they never actually leave you alone. I personally don't think that any spirit that used to reside in you is ever going to leave you alone for the rest of your life, because the Bible says they remember you as a house. Spirits feel entitled to you, especially if they have been with you for a long time, for like the majority of your life. So it really is a Christian's responsibility to walk in your authority and keeping those spirits out until the Lord takes you away from this place, because they are always going to try to get back in. And they remember the people that they were using as a vessel, or maybe the person that you originally established that covenant with through that spirit. So that's why you'll find that you have a covenant with this spirit, or you're yoked to this spirit, because of um, the people that kind of came with that spirit, or along with it under that same umbrella. That soul tie is still there. So you're yoked to the spirit in the spirit realm, but in the natural, the same people who are also subject to that spirit, you have a soul tie with them, and that's the people that God calls us to cut off and break all communication with. And anytime Jezebel has, or the witchcraft spirits, because I have a lot of them that are actually up against me, it's not just Jezebel. Anytime they always wanted to get back in, they would send Olivia. I haven't talked to her since September of last year, and she would email me every single time I was under oppression. So they know which people to send back to you according what door openers or what portals. People are channelers. We're just vessels. So spirits, they treat us like that. So they remember who the people were. So I used to just ignore them and just delete them. But recently I've discovered that I think a huge key element to really breaking a covenant with a spirit that the Lord has taught me is you have to confront the spirit through the person. And it's kind of funny because I think that we as Christians, we always think that renunciation prayer is just enough to break like a covenant with a spirit, or if we have a soul tie or something with somebody, or it really goes that deep to where this spirit will not leave us alone because it was always connected to a certain individual or a group of people. It could be more than one person. We think that it's enough to just target the spirit itself. And I think that there is something very key about addressing the spirit, not just verbally by yourself in the spirit, but going to the person that you had originally established the covenant with the spirit with, and you divorcing the person and the spirit through the individual. So that requires confrontation, like Brother Greg was talking about in his video. And I think Christians take the easy way out. We just don't want to confront the person at all. We just want to go in the spirit and just talk to the spirit itself. And I just don't think that's enough. From what the Lord's taught me recently, I don't think that's enough, because she's still coming back. Yeah, the witchcraft spirits may not ever leave you alone. They can always find a different way or a loophole to get back in, but they keep using her. So even though you have not talked to her since September, she's still emailing you trying to find a way to get back in. And yes, that's true that I would never respond. I would just always ignore it, I would trash it or delete it, but she would still come back. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to just tell her. Maybe you should have just told Olivia. It's kind of funny how that works. It's almost like a marriage. You literally have a marriage with this person. Sometimes your spirit spouse is not always the opposite sex. The spirit spouse can manifest through your friends. You have a marriage covenant, or you live out a marriage covenant with a spirit spouse through the individuals that spirit was using to control you in your life. So technically, I had a covenant, marriage covenant with Olivia, and the Lord has shown me that in several dreams that she always represented a covenant. She always represented a witchcraft spirit in my dreams. Whether it was following me back to my husband's house in the dreams, or wherever I went, this spirit followed me everywhere, and he would always show it as Olivia. Now, she was typed, it wasn't her literally. She wouldn't literally come with me where the Lord is leading me, but the Lord just showed me that covenant is still there. It's still in place. So, and let me just show you how persistent these spirits are. Even though I deleted my old email address recently, about 2 weeks ago, she came to my YouTube channel, and I was surprised none of y'all saw her comments, because she was commenting on like several videos trying to get through to me. Hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. We need to hang out. And I mean, she commented on like 5 videos, and I was just thinking to myself, I said, these spirits are really relentless. So somehow she realized she couldn't get through to me via email. And I think what's so funny about the situation, I think it's amazing how people don't know when spirits are controlling their actions, because you would think that if you have not talked to the girl since September, then she's most likely ignoring you. If somebody really wanted to talk to you, then they would respond. So she probably saw that there was a wall, because somebody told me since I deleted my old email address that the messages, I think they would come back or something, because it's deleted now. So I think since she saw that there was a wall there, she decided to come to my videos, and she commented on my guitar video, which I now made private, because I just felt like it was a distraction to the messages and stuff. She commented on some dream videos I made. And I kind of got a little excited to see that she was watching the videos, because I was thinking, well, maybe she'll come across the ones where I was talking about her and she can kind of see how I feel about her and what that relationship really was, because I never actually addressed that directly with her. I just stopped talking to her. I just blocked her. And like I said, I think initially we may think that that's, the right way to do it, just to block them and don't talk to them. But depending on what kind of spirit that you're dealing with, if you have a covenant with that person, or a covenant with a spirit spouse, and that person was one of the channels that was used, I think the Lord wants us to divorce that person directly. Tell the person why you don't want to talk to them anymore. So I think that's a big reason why she kept coming around, because you never really divorced her. You got, word from the Lord about, how the spirit was using her in your life. And he showed you in dreams what role she played, and you cut her off, which that was a smart move. You're not really opening the door, but the covenant is still in place because you did not divorce her. So, she commented on like 5 videos, and I screenshotted it and I sent it to my friends. I said, look at this spirit, yo. Like it couldn't get through the emails anymore, so it came to the videos. She was commenting on like every video. And as an individual, I don't have anything against Olivia. I don't have anything against her. It's just I just got clear instruction from the Lord to cut her off, because I came to the realization through what he was trying to show me through dreams all along, is that she's actually a witchcraft spirit. That spirit has been using her to pull you back into regression. Anytime you come under demonic oppression again, you go right back to Olivia. Start going to Olivia's house. Start compromising with Olivia, And it was just so demonic because I have those spirits always like try to put old things, back upon me, things I used to be yoked to in my past when I was under that, gothic stuff. And she was just making comments like, "Oh, you got a guitar, you should come by the house so we can rock out and we can, do this and that, blah blah blah." And I just commented, I was like, "Okay, give me your number." Because I only wanted her number because I was like, I'm gonna like finish this like once and for all. She probably thought I was gonna call her to like, try to meet up with her or something, but my intentions was just to tell her directly, like pretty much what the Lord showed me and how I don't want anything to do with her. So I called her. Now I'm making this video because reading this book, Breaking Intimidation by John Bevere, and then seeing how the Holy Spirit is working through Brother Greg and making his video about you have to confront Jezebel. A lot of us, as bold and anointed as we are intimidated by Jezebel. We are afraid to come to these people and just tell them directly, I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, you're scared of her. Be honest, you're scared of that spirit through the person that she's been using to control your life. You're very scared. And it's not an insult to your identity. It's not an insult to what God may have anointed you with, because even Elijah ran from Jezebel, so that's not the issue. I think our issue is we don't have experience in walking in authority, so we cower to people who are carrying these spirits, and we'd rather just deal with the spirit behind the scenes and not deal with the person. And God's like, no, you're going to deal with the person. Because think about it. Elijah could have dealt with the Jezebel spirit, or the spirit that was operating through Jezebel, completely separate from her, but that would have not completed his assignment. And that's one thing that John Bevere says in his book. You can start a war or initiate a war in the spirit against the spirit itself, but spirits are operating in the natural. If a spirit is controlling your life or influencing your life somehow, it's always using people somehow in the natural that you are attached to in your life to do the controlling. So it's not enough for you to just be like, hey, Jezebel in the spirit realm, leave me alone. And because her completion, or the other half of her delivery, is using the people in your life. So you have to divorce her and the people. And in order for that to be done, you have to clearly, like how Brother Greg just said, what does confrontation look like? It looks like communication. So now we have to take up another level of authority that we're really afraid of and we don't want to do. And you have to go to the person and you have to address the person directly, and you have to confront them and tell them, you've been controlling my life for this long, or the Lord, whatever you want to say to them. I mean, depending on, whether they're saved or unsaved, I'm going to share my experience with Olivia with y'all, and I'm going to share with you. I think I probably aired a little bit. I'm pretty much cutthroat, so I have no problem telling you what the Lord showed me about you. I think sometimes it could be kind of like redundant, because my experience with doing that with people, I've done it with my mom. I noticed that people under that spirit, all they do is like play a reverse psychology tactic and try to act like what God showed you isn't really God. I've experienced that with so many people. So I see that the Lord can reveal something to you about somebody in secret. And even though they know that it's true, people are still wicked. So they have a level of denial that is really insane. It makes you question your own relationship with God, how strong somebody can deny the Lord's revelation to you about what he showed you about them. So my personal opinion with that, if your focus is coming to the person and you want them to actually rationalize and process what you're saying about what the Lord showed you about, concerning why you don't want to, continue contact with them, I think it could be redundant in that aspect. So I would still do it, because the Lord just recently told me that you have to talk to this person as if it was Jezebel herself. Stop underestimating people that this spirit is using in your life. Because let me tell you something. If she's been using that friend of yours, or those friends, or your parents like that, whoever the people may be in your life, you know who they are. If she's been using them that strongly and that consistently, then that shows you that those people are heavily submitted to those spirits. So you can't address this situation of confrontation in a way that's like, oh, well, they've been in my life for so long, they're my friend, let me break it down to them easy, why God told me I have to cut. No, there's no breaking down easy. Because if those people are that submitted to that spirit, I recently did a video called Shapeshifter. She's a shapeshifter. So if she sees that you're approaching her to divorce her through the mother of your child, through the father of your child, through your family, or through your peers, who I don't call them friends, they're peers. If Jezebel sees that you're trying to come and divorce her, she's paying attention to the approach that you're using. And one thing I love that Greg said in his video is that with Jehu, Ahab's son, when Jehu came, he asked him, is it peace? Or is it peace or not? And Jehu said, no, it's not peace. So Jehu let Ahab's son know right off the bat, no, I'm not coming peaceably. I'm coming to divorce you and kick some butt, okay? So that is what spirits recognize. So the way Jezebel sees it, because there's different kinds of spirits. Jezebel is a very controlling, dominant spirit, and she's a shapeshifter. So that means that according to how you address her, she's already paying attention and analyzing your approach to see what tactic she's going to use to play on your mind. So if you come to Jezebel in a cowering, fragile spirit, trying to divorce her through the person, she sees, okay, well, I can easily just switch my face and I can use a different mask and I can play on his emotions, or I can play on her emotions, and that way you'll cower down a little bit and not walk in your authority as boldly to complete what you came here to do. So let's say, for example, that y'all have a covenant with me, and I'm somebody who Jezebel has been using in your life to control you for a very long time. And the Lord has revealed to you, you need to cut Brandy off because she's walking heavily in the Jezebel spirit. She's been controlling your life. And if you don't cut this covenant off with her, this spirit is going to continue to have access to you. So you need to be bold and you need to go to her directly, which that is not the case. It sounds so bad. Why would I use myself in this? Well, no, literally though, you have to go to her and you need to tell her directly, because that spirit in her is yoked and connected to her, so you can't just, go in the spirit and be like, okay, Jezebel, stop using Brandy and leave me alone. No, you have to address Jezebel through Brandy. That's the true confrontation that people are really afraid of. You can't come to me and be like, well, Brandy, I just had the Lord show me some things in a dream. And I don't want to hurt your feelings. I really care about your feelings. I'm already thinking like, you are so weak. I'm about to play like the biggest reverse psychology mind game on you, because you're already not walking in your authority towards me. You're coming like a little chicken to me. So I know I can easily say something to kind of rebuttal or change your opinion, or, try to change or sway your decision of what you're coming to tell me. So I love how Greg addressed that, how when Jehu came to complete the Lord's assignment that Elijah was supposed to do, but he didn't do, he let him know right off the bat, no, it's not peace, it's beef, period. So since Jezebel is a shapeshifter, and I talked about that in my shapeshifter video, how the Lord showed me she can be a friend. If Jezebel has to put on the friend face for you, first of all, her agenda and her intent is always going to be to control you. Jezebel just uses different people and different faces in your life according to which tactic is going to work the best on you. If Jezebel has to be more dominant with somebody like you, if she has to force you into submission to her through threats, through intimidation, through bullying, making you intimidated by her, being fearful because she probably has something in her possession that's controlling you or something like that, then she'll be a dominant Jezebel. But if she sees that it may not require that much to control you, and it's just enough for her to be very friendly to you and be very nice to you and be a friend and we care about you, then she'll do that. But the spirit behind the person at work is always about control. It's a spirit who wants to destroy you and does not really want to leave your life. So the spirit will use any face that will work, is the point. So that's why I said, if your intent is for the person to rationalize what you have to say to them, I would not make it my goal for the person, because the person is so heavily submitted to the spirit that when the spirit sees how you're addressing the person and you're not really coming to address the spirit in the person, that's when the spirit's already analyzing which face to use to kind of play on your emotions and try to sway your decisions or just completely annihilate the purpose in you coming in the first place. So the Lord recently told me and my friends, do not underestimate the people who are submitted to this spirit. You have to acknowledge that Jezebel is a shapeshifter. She can be the nicest person to you in your life if she feels like that is what will work to keep you under her control. So I don't care if this person is mean one day, nice the next day. If the Lord revealed to you already that they need to be cut off and that they need to go, The Lord told me you have to see these people as Jezebel herself. Because technically, because they're so submitted to her, they are Jezebel in the flesh. They're like master manipulators. They are magicians, honey. Jezebel is a magician. She can put false projections on. You will never know that somebody is a Jezebel because of how smart these people really are. They can put on any type of face, any type of mask. It really does not matter. So the Lord told me that once he gives you that revelation about this person in your life and how this particular spirit is using them, you have to see this person as the spirit itself, because that's really what you're dealing with. Forget their feelings, forget their emotions, forget y'all's history, forget all of that crap. We don't care, okay? These are not even things that should really be in like your database when you're coming for war to divorce somebody or divorce a spirit through somebody. So, now my experience with Olivia, you did good in confronting her. I did call her. And what's so funny, me and my friends talk about this all the time. I mean, exactly what the Lord showed you in the dream about the person. I mean, from my mother to Olivia to different people, it's incredible how whatever attributes or behaviors or mannerisms that the person had in the dream, the Lord gave it to me, they do the exact same thing in real life. And in this case, Olivia, she was always like kind of out of it in my dreams. Well, as soon as I got on the phone with her, hey, oh my God, it's been so long. Like, I mean, I couldn't see her face, but it looked like she was just looking. So I already knew, like, just right off, like from jump, like it was that spirit that I was talking to, and it wasn't even her. And knowing that now, I wish I had been a lot more authoritative with divorcing her, because I could literally hear through the phone. It sounds like this girl's mind is completely gone. Like she's completely just taken over by this spirit. You should have just went ahead and talked to this spirit like you was just chopping, because it was not her. And that was a perfect example of the Lord telling me, like, I don't tell you I don't teach you what I teach you for no reason. If I'm telling you this girl's a witchcraft spirit in your life, then that's exactly what I mean. So I came to talk to Olivia to, just explain to her, which be careful with explaining yourself to Jezebel, because sometimes that's just completely redundant. That spirit does not care. I came to talk to Olivia and divorce her because I thought that was the proper way to do it. And I understood that I was divorcing the spirit through her, but I thought that the right way to go about approaching the situation was to talk to Olivia. And that was not the right way to do it, because I could literally hear through the phone how this girl's mind was so taken over by this spirit. It did not even feel like I was talking to an actual person. She wasn't aggressive or anything like that. She just sounded really airheaded. And she's always been kind of like that, but it was just different. It was literally a spirit on the phone. And so I went into explaining the dreams the Lord had given me about her, things I had never told her. I just cut her off. I just stopped talking to her. So you never actually divorced her. You just ignored her. That's not proper. That's not how God wants us to. That's not confrontation, basically. So I was going over the dreams with her. Just simply told her how our relationship was always a soul tie. It was never a real friendship, and how it was just a faulty link and connection the Lord didn't want me a part of anymore. And how whenever he would show her in my dreams that she represented a witchcraft spirit. Now, I can't remember everything that I told her, but I was just saying different things like that. And the spirit would just interrupt through her, just be like, okay, wait a second. Okay, there's like critical judgment. And then there's like, she was just saying weird things like that. Like, I don't appreciate you calling me a witchcraft spirit. And I'm just on the phone like, is that what you got from what I just, like, it was like the Lord was showing me how pointless it is to address the people as the person itself, because you're not dealing with the person, you're dealing with the spirit. So she couldn't even process what the Lord was showing me about her. She thought I was calling her a witchcraft spirit, and I was like, no, the Lord was showing me that you represent a witchcraft spirit. And so she wasn't even like, she couldn't process nothing I was saying. And while I was trying to explain a serious situation to her, like how our relationship has been going on for this many years because of what we used to be in bondage to when we were in middle school. So I'm talking to her about a very serious subject that she should be able to relate to, right? No. she would like interrupt me and start talking about like different artists, and it was just weird. I mean, stuff that had nothing to do with what I had called her about. So it's like the spirit was always like trying to find a scapegoat or trying to find a different topic to talk about to try to get me to completely just abort or just abandon my purpose for calling her in the first place. And I have to keep like bringing her back to, yeah, well, anyway, basically, I don't want to talk to you anymore, you know? And it was the weirdest experience. I was like, where is she? Because it was so apparent that I was talking to the spirit. I was like, is she capable of realizing that she's fully taken over right now? Because it just made no sense. She was saying things that had nothing to do with the topic at hand, nothing to do with the conversation. Her mind would always just go to a different place. She would start talking about something else. And yeah, the spirit told me, it said, well, you know, you're going to lose a very good relationship. You know, you're cutting off a very good friendship. Mind you, I have not talked to her in a year. So I thought that was kind of hilarious that she even said that, because we don't have a relationship. And she's telling me through the phone, well, you know, you're going to lose a very good friend. She knows. So the spirit, I honestly thought the spirit's attempts were very weak, because I was like, well, I don't even really care for her like that. So I don't even know why that spirit is still trying to use her to even say something like that. Like, I could see if it was somebody I cared about that was just really hard for me to let go. Like, you think it would make sense for the spirit to use somebody like that. So it was just weird. And it literally felt like a wandering spirit just came into her momentarily, which is talking to me like, no, Brandy, I want to stay in your life. You know that you're gonna lose a good friend. Like, that's literally how she was talking. And then towards the end of the conversation, she was like, okay, I love you. I don't love you. I mean, it was just, and Olivia has never ever told me she loved me before. So that spirit was just really trying to stay. And even like the tone of her voice was like, the spirit was like, okay, well, I'll be back. Like, I'll be here if you ever want to, like, I'm still here waiting. In other words, if you ever want to leave your covering. That's literally how it was talking to me. So, I mean, I made it clear to her that I didn't want to talk to her anymore. And the conversation ended. And now that you got that through to the individual, I'm sure that's probably going to shift, you know, her continuing to pursue a relationship, because now you divorced the person. But where I think I erred at with that situation is, it's clear that you wasted your time trying to explain spiritual things and reasons to her why you don't want to communicate to her, because it literally was like she could not even process anything that I was saying. And how serious, you know, this situation is for why I cannot talk to you anymore. Her mind was just like, it made no freaking sense. I wish I could have recorded it for y'all. It was crazy. And I was not as cutthroat. It still sounded like on the phone, on the other end, the spirit was still comfortable and just kind of lingering around. Like, I think the spirit understood what I was saying, but because I wasn't very authoritative with the way I was saying it, it was kind of just still like, well, I'll still be here. Okay, but I'm still here. You know, that kind of thing. So I got off the phone. I kind of felt like a coward because it's kind of funny. You know how in movies when people get in the mirror, they start pep talking themselves, like planning, you know, how they're going to like talk to somebody they're about to meet. Well, in my head before I called her, I was like, okay, this may seem really out of box, but I'm really just planning on telling the spirit through her, I divorce you in Jesus' name. And I'm sure she would have been like, what? You know, I didn't end up saying it. I wish I did say it, but in short, I wasn't as authoritative as I should have been, or as I wish I had been, in breaking that covenant off. And instead, I addressed her. I just thought it would have been more logical to just come to her. I was respecting her individuality as a person. I thought that maybe if I explained to her the situation, maybe it could probably help her in the future if she really understood what was going on spiritually between us in our relationship. But it didn't. And yeah, she was also trying to like make excuses of how she's so close to God now and she's a Christian. I was like, no, you're not. Like, I mean, the spirit's attempts were so weak. I was like, okay, this is so stupid. I honestly think it was just like training from the Father, like to see what level of authority is Brady going to walk in with this situation, because it was too easy. It was like level 1 prepping, and I just failed. I was like, oh gosh, should have been more mean. I should have been like, get out my face, but I didn't do it. And yeah, it was completely pointless. So what that encounter and that experience taught me is that you're wasting your time trying to address the friendship when you were divorcing a spirit through this person. I would not even bring up the friendship. I wouldn't bring up the relationship. I wouldn't try to reminisce on y'all's history. I wasn't reminiscing with her, but I was, referring to our history, years ago and our past and stuff, and how this spirit has been, keeping up this soul tie and stuff in this covenant. I just see that it really didn't matter. I think God gave me one commandment, which was to divorce the spirit through her, and I should have just did it that quick, nipped it in the bud. And because she was so airheaded, and I experienced for myself how she literally was like not present. It was just the spirit. I had every opportunity to just talk to the spirit itself. So I want to tell y'all, when you are divorcing this spirit through somebody, I need you to completely just like bypass this person's humanity. Like, don't even acknowledge the fact that you are talking to a person, because that's how heavily submitted to this demon they are. They're so submitted to Satan and the Jezebel spirit that she has been the one controlling their mind, their thought processes, their behavior, concerning you or towards you, and controlling your life. However the spirit wanted to use this woman or this man in your life to sway your decisions and do all this, it's literally Jezebel in the flesh. She just used a certain mask or a face to, accomplish what she wanted done. So that could be a face of friendship, but they're really not your friend. Jezebel's never your friend. Jezebel is a narcissistic spirit that wants to control your life and destroy you. So from this point on, and I have a lot more people the Lord wants me to confront that are carrying this spirit. And what he told me recently is that you literally have to see these people as Jezebel herself. So when you come to them and when you speak to them and you're walking in that authority, forget their feelings. Their feelings don't even matter with a command from the Lord. So just think about that. In the Old Testament, when the Lord had his people go to war, could you imagine how much they may have failed if they even for once thought about the feelings or emotions of the children that the Lord commanded them to slaughter, or the people, because they were like the seed of the Canaanites or something. And God says, I know I need you to go take them out completely. Do you really think that would have been accomplished if they were thinking about their feelings and their emotions? Well, how are the people going to feel when I slice this sword through their skin? Like, the Lord don't care about that. The Lord said, just get rid of them. Do your job. Go do what I commanded you to do. That's how serious this is. So, God having us cut off communications with like fleshly attachments. This is why a lot of people cannot obey God, because they're always worried about somebody's feelings and somebody's emotions. And if you only knew the spirit that this person is carrying, you would realize they don't even care about your feelings. So we be worried about how this person's going to feel. And I just want to be gentle with them. I just want to break it to them nicely. And it's like, there is no nicely. They don't even care about you. They're operating in a narcissistic spirit. They don't even care about your feelings. So you have to see this person as the spirit itself. That's how you have to deal with a situation to where the Lord wants you to confront the individual, or confront the spirit in the individual. If you were talking to a demon directly, do you really think that it would matter if you were worried about the demon's feelings? Demons don't care about stuff like that, okay? And they're using this person as a host body, and 9 times out of 10, this person is already taken over. So it's not going to do you any good or benefit you personally to be concerned about their feelings and their emotions when divorcing this person. So do what God called you to do. You got specific instruction, and you just need to tell this person or this spirit directly, I don't want anything to do with you. Talk to the person as if you were talking to Jezebel herself. If you had an opportunity, because we always talk like that, like, oh, if I could, I'd go in the spirit and I'd punch Jezebel in the face, and I'd do. You can't even do it through the people she's using in your life. So what makes you think that if you were standing, face to face with her in her actual form, that you could do it? She's been controlling you through this woman all your life, or through this man all your life, or through this relative, and you can't even stand up to them. You cower in the face of Jezebel through flesh and blood. What makes you think that directly in a face-to-face encounter with the actual spirit, that you would be able to, walk in some authority. So practice now. And forget the mind games, forget the witchcraft tactics and stuff. And they're gonna use all these different shape-shifting faces. Just tell them bluntly, it's over. It's done. And I don't want anything to do with you. I mean, make it clear cut to this individual. Forget their feelings. Do not ever contact me in your entire life again. If you do, I will shoot you. Don't say that. Don't actually shoot them. But that's been my experience with that. And according to what your assignment may be, sometimes God could anoint you to deal with Jezebel through people if you're in your marriage. And it may not be a relationship that you have with the individuals, but because God put you in a place of authority to deal with them in a certain way, you can still carry those same attributes into that situation. Don't do that. If God gives you an assignment to kill someone, just speaking in Old Testament, language. Another thing, speaking of language, I wanted to say Jezebels don't process information the way you do. They don't speak the language of understanding. Jezebelian people are very chaotic individuals. All they want is destruction and control. So you trying to explain yourself to Jezebel and trying to break down, even rationalize. One of the girls, the Lord had me confront her in the dream. And I tried to do it the same way I addressed Olivia in real life. And the girl was so freaking psychotic. It was like I could not even have a civilized conversation with her. So the Lord was clearly showing me, this is what you're dealing with. You can't even have a simple conversation to a point with this girl, to the point where she can understand her role and what your role is. So you literally have to deal with them like a spirit. There's some people like that. There's some people who are so chaotic and dramatic that you can't even be logical with them. The Lord just says snip it. And that's it. Just cut off the narcissist, cut off Jezebel, and that's it. So in those situations, maybe if God wants you to walk in a spirit of authority towards a different situation where you may not have a relationship with the people, but you still have an office, or you still have a responsibility or a role to play, an authoritative role in taking care of them a certain way. That's something that you really want to take into a situation like that. Forget these people's feelings. Forget how they're going to feel. Forget their emotions. Forget their relationship. Forget all that crap. Forget the ties and do what you need to go do. Because the Lord, he's been witnessing for a very long time how these individuals have been playing a role of manipulation and witchcraft in different situations. And in certain environments, and God may want you to go into that environment and take care of that a certain kind of way. And you can't go into something like that with a weak and cowardly mindset. When you're dealing with a Jezebel spirit, you don't run from Jezebel, you confront Jezebel, but it has to be done in a very authoritative and bold spirit. You have to be Jehu to Jezebel. You can't be Elijah. Because even Elijah had the anointing, but he had a spirit of timidity. He was intimidated. So you can't even go to her intimidated. Just go do what God told you to do.